Sometimes destiny whispers before it arrives. Sometimes wealth isn't built in what we choose, but in what we avoid. And sometimes the line between survival and success is drawn by a single moment, the moment when we open our eyes before the storm hits. Oh, now let's begin. The question pulling millions today is simple yet heavy. Is a 2026 market crash coming? People talk about the death cross, the bubble signals, the warnings buried in charts and headlines. But behind all of that, there's something deeper. Something about human nature, fear, greed, cycles, and the way history repeats itself when people stop learning from it. Let me take you back for a moment. I once knew a man, not a billionaire, not a market legend, just a simple shop owner. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Every dollar mattered. Every decision mattered. And yet the hardest moment of his life wasn't losing money. It was losing belief. You see, he invested at the wrong time, right before a downturn. Markets fell, his savings dropped, and so did his confidence. But he told me something I never forgot. He said, I didn't lose because I failed. I lost because I panicked. That is the real death cross most people never see, the one that happens inside them. So when we talk about 2026, when we talk about market crashes and bubbles, we're not just talking numbers. We're talking about human behavior, human fear, and human destiny. Right now, the markets are flashing signals that many ignore. The death cross, that moment when the 50-day moving average drops below the 200-day is not magic, it's not prophecy. It's a reflection of trend, momentum, and collective psychology. It's the market saying, pay attention. But here's the truth. Crashes don't come from charts. Crashes come from pressure building underneath the surface quietly, slowly, until one day it becomes too heavy to hold. The so-called everything bubble didn't appear overnight. It grew from years of low rates, cheap money, inflated confidence, and the belief that the market only goes up. But markets don't run on belief. They run on reality, and reality always comes back for its debt. Yet, listen to me closely. Fear is not the message here. Preparation is. There's a difference. Let's imagine the average person today. They're tired. They're overwhelmed. They're trying to pay bills, build savings, invest something, anything just to feel like the future is in their hands. But when they hear death cross, bubble, crash, their hearts sink. Their mind goes dark. Their dreams tighten. This is why we must talk about mindset before money. Wealth is not built in comfort. It's built in clarity, consistency, and courage during uncertain times. Let me tell you another short story. A young investor once asked, when do I buy? When the chart looks perfect. I told him the perfect chart doesn't exist, but a prepared mind does. 2026 may bring volatility. It may bring correction. It may bring the kind of shift that rewrites portfolios and tests patience. But that doesn't mean destruction. It means opportunity for those who are awake. Those who rush will lose. Those who freeze will lose. Those who learn, plan, and wait will rise. The death cross is a signal, not a sentence. A bubble is a warning, not an ending. A crash is a reset, not a burial. The real question isn't, will 2026 bring a crash? The real question is, will you be the person who breaks or the person who builds? Because every downturn in history has created two types of people, the ones who say, why me? And the ones who say, watch me. And every moment of fear contains a seed of transformation. Take a breath, because we're going deeper, past the indicators, past the predictions, into the heart of what truly shapes wealth. This is where understanding becomes power. This is where fear becomes strategy. This is where you stop being a spectator and start becoming a builder. When we look toward 2026, we're not just looking at a date on a calendar. We're looking at a cycle reaching maturity. Every market cycle has its heartbeat, expansion, excitement, overconfidence, and then the quiet tightening before the turn. Right now, we are living in that tightening. But to understand what's coming, we must understand what we've been. Think back to the early days of your own financial journey. Maybe you were scared. Maybe you didn't know where to start. Maybe you felt alone. And yet, something inside you pushed forward. A small voice that said, there has to be more for me. That voice wasn't wrong. Let me share another story, one that echoes in every investor's heart. There was a young man who invested during a bull run. Every stock he touched went up. Every risk paid off. Every headline encouraged him. He felt unstoppable, untouchable, chosen. And then, without warning the market turn, he wasn't ready. He wasn't trained. He wasn't prepared for the silence after the storm. He sold everything at the bottom, lost half his savings. And yet years later, he told me that crash was the best teacher I ever had. That is why we talk about 2026, not to fear you, but to prepare you. Let's talk about the death cross again, not as a chart pattern, but as a story about discipline. The death cross reflects momentum turning, confidence fading, and investors hesitating. Historically, it hasn't always predicted a crash, but it has always predicted change. The question is, what do you do when change comes? Most people cling to the old world. They chase the last bull run. They hope the past will return. But markets don't reward hope, they reward readiness. Right now, the bubble we're in isn't just an asset bubble, it's a belief bubble. A bubble of unrealistic expectations, of constant upward motion, of people forgetting that wealth is not built on shortcuts, but on patience. Remember this, pressure does not destroy you. Pressure reveals you. And in times of pressure, your mind becomes your greatest investment. Which brings us to the deeper truth, the personal bubble within each of us. The bubble wanting success faster than we are ready to handle. The bubble of comparing our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. The bubble of believing that if we're not rich yet, something must be wrong with us. No, nothing is wrong with you. You are in your cycle, your season, your preparation. The market moves in cycles. People move in cycles. Dreams move in cycles. And right now, many of you are in the building quietly phase. Do not underestimate this phase. This is where the strongest investors are made, not during the hype, not during the bull runs, but during the uncertain, uneasy years when no one is watching. 2026 might test you. It might shake you. It might demand more patience than you expect. But listen carefully. The strongest opportunities of your life often appear disguised as uncertainty. Those who learn now, those who prepare now, those who breathe deeply and stay consistent now will be the ones who rise when everyone else is scrambling. Because wealth doesn't come from timing the market perfectly. Wealth comes from staying calm when the world is shaking. Take a moment, breathe, feel the truth in that. Let's keep going and go deeper than numbers, deeper than charts, deeper than predictions. When people hear the words 29 of 26 crash, they picture collapsing markets, red candles, panic on news screens, but the real crash doesn't begin on the charts. It begins in the mind. The mind freezes before the portfolio falls. The heart panics before the market turns red, and confidence breaks long before wealth does. This is why emotional discipline, not market data, becomes your greatest advantage. Let me tell you a story from years ago. There was a man who spent his whole life waiting for the right moment to invest. Every time he saved a little money, he convinced himself, not yet, something bad might happen. He waited through bull markets, waited through dips, waited through recoveries. And when he was old, he said something painful. I didn't lose money in the market. I lost it in my fear. That confession still echoes in my mind. Because the truth is, fear steals more dreams than crashes ever will. Right now, as we look toward 2026, many people are repeating his mistake. They're either frozen by fear or blinded by euphoria. Both extremes are dangerous. Both extremes cost people their futures. The wise investor stands in the middle, calm, patient, aware. Let's talk about the bubble not as a chart phenomenon, but as a human phenomenon. Bubbles form when people stop asking questions, when they stop thinking independently, when they follow crowds instead of convictions. Every major bubble in history grew from the same seed. People started believing prices could rise forever. But the market doesn't move on belief. It moves on reality. And reality always has a way of correcting illusions softly at first, then violently. 2026 could be that correction year, not because the world ends, but because cycles mature, excess unwinds, and inflated confidence returns to earth. Some will be destroyed by this. Some will be reborn by this. Difference, preparation. Let's talk strategy, not the kind written in textbooks, but the kind written in scars. During uncertain years, the smartest investors don't aim to be heroes. They aim to be survivors. They focus on preserving mental clarity, controlling emotions, building cash positions, strengthening skills, studying businesses deeply, staying patient when others chase noise. Because opportunity doesn't appear when everything looks safe. Opportunity appears when the world is confused. Think of the greatest fortunes ever built. Almost all came after downturns, not before them. The ones who rose weren't lucky, they were prepared. Preparation is more emotional than analytical. It's waking up each day and saying, I am building for the long term, even if I don't see results yet. It's trusting the process even when progress is invisible. It's believing in patience when the world worships speed. People think investing is about shots. No, investing is about character. Character is what keeps you from selling too early. Character is what stops you from chasing hype. Character is what holds you steady when the world shakes. And right now, as we move closer to 2026, character will decide who falls and who rises. Let me share one more story, a quiet one, but powerful. There was a woman who invested a small amount each month. Nothing big, nothing flashy. She didn't chase trends, didn't time the market, didn't panic in downturns. She just stayed consistent year after year. People laughed at her small contributions, but she understood one truth: consistency beats intensity. Years later, the same people who laughed came to her asking how she did it. She smiled and simply said, I didn't rush.
I didn't fear, I didn't stop.
That mindset is rare, but that mindset is available to you. As we look toward 2026, the signals, the warnings, the patterns, remember this: the market tests everyone, but it rewards those who remain calm. And now, let's step into the part that most people overlook, the part where strategy meets soul, where preparation meets purpose, where patience becomes your greatest form of power. As we move closer to 2026, the noise around us will grow louder. Every headline will scream predictions. Every commentator will claim certainty. Every rumor will feel like a signal. And this is exactly where most people lose themselves, because the real danger is not the crash itself. The real danger is reacting to the world instead of responding with wisdom. Let's talk about positioning not as a checklist, but as a mindset. In times of uncertainty, the smartest investors don't chase everything. They simplify. They focus. They choose clarity over chaos. The wise investor asks three questions. One, what can I control? Two, what can I prepare for? What must I let go of? And believe me, letting go is often the hardest part. Letting go of FOMO, letting go of fear, letting go of the pressure to outperform everyone, letting go of the need to be right rather than be consistent. Because in times like these, ego is more dangerous than the market. Let me share a story that captures this truth. There was an investor who held on to a losing position for years, not because the company was strong, not because the fundamentals were solid, but because his pride wouldn't let him take the loss. His portfolio didn't sink because of the market. It sank because he refused to accept reality. A crash doesn't destroy your wealth, Daniel does. So as we talk about 2026 and the possibility of a downturn, the lesson is not to live in fear, but to live with awareness. Let's talk about bubble psychology for a moment. The emotional signs that appear before the fall. A bubble is born not when prices rise, but when people stop asking why. It grows when warnings are ignored. It peaks when average people start believing they're financial geniuses. And it ends when confidence collapses under its own weight. Right now, we're seeing early signs, not of catastrophe, but of imbalance. People buying things they don't understand, chasing gains they didn't earn, investing money they can't afford to lose, living in an illusion of easy wealth. But you're here to break that pattern. This moment right now is not about waiting for a crash. It's about building the character that will carry you through it. Preparation is not panic. Preparation is peace. Think of it like standing on a shore, watching the tide pull back. Some run blindly, some run away in fear. But the wise person stands still, watches, waits, and moves only when the moment aligns with clarity. As 2026 approaches, here's what matters most. Build your skills, strengthen your knowledge, increase your patience, protect your energy, cut emotional decisions, study resilient assets, hold cash when needed, move slowly when others rush, move boldly when others freeze. Because the greatest opportunities of your life will not come when the world is calm. They will come when the world is uncertain and you are not. And that brings us to the deepest truth of all. Before you build wealth, you must build the mind capable of holding wealth. A mind that doesn't break under pressure, doesn't panic in downturns, doesn't chase illusions, doesn't collapse at the first sign of trouble. The real investment is the version of you that emerges from discipline. If you prepare your mindset, if you stay grounded, if you stay patient, then whatever happens in 2026, crash, correction, or calm will not control your destiny. You will. And that is the greatest power any investor can ever hold. Take a slow breath and let everything we've talked about settle into your heart. Because this journey, this lesson, this moment was never just about the death cross, never just about bubbles, never just about the possibility of a 2026 market shift. It was about you, your growth, your strength, your evolution, your ability to rise when life tests you, your ability to stay patient when the world rushes, your ability to stay grounded when the noise becomes unbearable. You see, the market will always move, cycles will always rise and fall, opportunities will always come and go. But your inner world, your clarity, your discipline, your purpose, that is what determines your destiny. Remember this, you are not here to fear the future. You are here to shape it. You are not here to panic in downturns. You are here to prepare for them. You are not here to chase quick gains. You are here to build a foundation that can last a lifetime. And as we look toward 2026, not with anxiety, but with awareness, know this truth. You are becoming stronger. You are becoming wiser. You are becoming the person capable of holding the wealth you dream of. Wealth is not luck. Wealth is not noise. Wealth is not timing. Wealth is alignment. Alignment with patience, alignment with purpose, alignment with discipline, alignment with the quiet truth that your future is built by what you do in the dark, not by what the world praises in the light. No matter what happens in the markets, no matter what changes come, you will stand steady because you're not building a fragile life, you're building a resilient one. And resilience is the greatest form of wealth anyone can ever own. Walk forward with calm confidence, walk forward with intention, walk forward knowing that you are not at the mercy of cycles, you are learning to master them. Your journey is just beginning, and the world has no idea how powerful you're becoming. Stay focused, stay patient, stay true to your purpose, and may abundance, clarity, and inner peace follow you in every step you take from here.